Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am a homeschooling mom of 5. This year I have a 6th grader, a 4th grader, 3rd grader, 1st grader, and I have an about to be 3-year-old. Today what I'm sharing with you guys is my homeschool schedule. I found this free printable online. I will try to link that below in the description. I think I saved it. Hopefully I can find that again, and I will link that for you guys if you are interested. So we are about to head into our 8th year of homeschooling. Every year I like to write out some sort of schedule, routine, rhythm, whatever you want to call it, flow. That's another one. Some people are afraid of the word schedule. I really don't mind it. We don't stick to this schedule strictly. I like to have it written out with times, kind of an idea of how we want our day, like how a perfect day would look if each of our subjects would fit into this time slot. With being a mom of 5, we need to be structured. If we're not structured, nothing will happen. We also have a lot of group subjects that we do as a group all together. And so because of that, we need to be together. We need to be starting at the same time so that we can all work on that subject at the same time. And as is evident to me through the summertime, if I don't have a like, come on, let's go, it's time to start school method with my kids, we would probably not start until about 10:30. So we kind of have to be on top of it, getting started at 9 o'clock. And then as the day goes on, if we need a little bit more time for a subject, we'll do that. If we're done a subject early, that's fine. But I do like to have our structure kind of written out for the kids to look at, kind of an idea of how a day should run. So I'm gonna go ahead all the way through and just share with you kind of what we're doing at certain times. I took a long time to come up with a schedule. I had a paper sitting in front of me for like almost a week. It was just sitting out, and on the top I wrote down 2021 to 22 homeschool schedule. And I just kept procrastinating because I just have this like, okay, I want to have the perfect schedule written out, knowing at what point I should be helping which child and how to best make our day run. And it's kind of overwhelming when I have this page sitting in front of me, but I just thought I need to write it out. I just need to figure out what I think will work well for us, and I can change it. That's what I need to remind myself of. If this is our schedule for 1 month, and then for the month of October, I switch it up because things aren't working, that's okay. So it took me a little while to kind of get it figured out, but all my rambling aside, all my chatting over, I'll go ahead and share with you how our days are gonna hopefully go. My plan for myself is to wake up at 6 o'clock every day. My kids know that they aren't allowed out of their bedrooms until 7 o'clock. Sometimes they wake up before that, but they don't come out until 7. So I have an hour, as long as I get up on time, I know I have that hour of time to do whatever I want to do. So typically I get up and right away will work out, then I shower and have my devotions, and I'm kind of ready to greet the kids after those things are done. Around 7:30 is when we will have breakfast. The kids each have chores. I did like revamp our chore schedule. Our chores for the kids each day kind of are centered around meal times. So breakfast, they each have a chore. Lunchtime, they each have a chore, and again at dinner time. So they each have their chores to do after breakfast. And then also Elijah is my early riser. So at some point before 9 o'clock when school begins is when I want him to also have his piano practice done. At 9 o'clock is when we start school, and we gather in the living room and we start right away with our Bible time, our read aloud, and our morning basket, kind of all in one. So that should take us about an hour to complete that. If we start a little bit late, if it's 9:15, that's fine too. Another thing I kind of want to incorporate at some point in our mornings, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but I've heard a lot about how exercise, and when you have exercise, I feel this for myself, so it totally makes sense that it works for education too, is that if your kids have exercised, they are kind of like re-energizing their brain as well and are ready to put more stuff into it. They are ready to learn after they have moved. And so I kind of want to incorporate that at some point in our school days. So I'm not sure if I should do that before Bible time or if we should do this hour block and then have an exercise time. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. So at 10 o'clock, we go ahead and get started with our Gather Round unit study. Again, this is all of us together. We do a lesson together, and then each of the children have some worksheets to do after I have read my teacher portion. So I'm assuming that will take an hour and 15 minutes, somewhere in there. And I have writing in this block as well. So each of the kids has a Handwriting Without Tears book. My oldest 3 are just working on cursive, and then my 4th has a writing book as well. And so I have that in that like hour and 15-minute block from 10 till 11:15, and we don't need to do writing every day. My goal is really to do it about twice a week, and so it just kind of depends how long Gather Round takes. If it takes longer, that's fine. We'll just skip writing that day, but writing is kind of just in that block with our Gather Round unit studies. At 11:15, we'll have a break. The kids can go outside and play, or they can play inside depending what the weather is like, but 15 minutes of a break before we head into math. So 11:30 is math time, and then I have 12:15 is lunch. Do all of my kids have to do math for 45 minutes? No, they don't. My oldest 3 kids who do teaching textbooks, I like them to finish one full lesson. If it's been the 45 minutes and they're not done their lesson, we stop. But if they finish their lesson before that, which they often will, then they're done. And then for my 1st grader, she has a couple of pages of math to do. And again, she'll be done before that 45-minute mark. But I just have that window of space still marked out for math. At 12:15, we have lunch. So up until this point, all of the kids' schoolwork really has been together, or at least they're doing the same subject at the same time. And then at 1 o'clock, they're all doing something different. So my oldest, I'm gonna have him do typing just twice a week. My daughter Charity is going to do her piano practice. Simeon, I gave him the job of reading to Wesley, which I think will be a really nice help for me. So Wesley is my 2-year-old, so he's gonna read to Wesley and kind of get Wesley ready for his nap while I do a reading lesson with Zara, who is my 1st grader. So then at 1:30, all of that is done, and each of the kids have reading time and just quiet time. So for an hour, I want a good half hour to be reading time, and then just have quiet time as well. They need that kind of hour just to do their own thing, to be quiet in their own space. I need that hour to know everybody's quiet in their own space, so I have my quiet time as well. And then at 2:30, it is free time for most of the kids. I have Charity doing her typing at this point twice a week. And then at 3 o'clock, the tricky thing, it was tricky for me to figure out where everybody does their piano practice. So at 3 o'clock is where I have Sim doing piano practice. Elijah is my like snack maker, so he does that. The girls have their free time, and then we have snacks and free time for the rest of the afternoon. Usually some screen time at 4 or 4:30 as well. And that's really our homeschool day. I need to figure out when I'm going to fit piano lessons in, because I teach piano lessons to the kids. I'm kind of thinking 3:30 once a week for each of the kids. I'll devote time to teach them a piano lesson, but we'll see. I have to kind of figure that out. But that is our homeschool schedule. Again, we're not tight, and like we don't feel like we are a servant to our schedule and like, oh my goodness, we are late, let's get to that next thing. I am the one in charge, not the schedule. The schedule is just an assistant, and it helps to make our day flow smoothly. And so I am just going to laminate this, and I'm going to sticky tack it to our wall in our kitchen / schoolroom. That will probably only be on the wall for a few weeks, because after a couple of weeks, the kids kind of get into the rhythm and they know how our day is supposed to go. This is actually very similar to last year's schedule as well, just a few tweaks to it. So once we kind of all are in a groove and we know how the day goes, we don't even really look at the schedule anymore, but it's nice to have that guide. So let me know down in the comments below if you guys have a homeschool schedule as well, if that helps you out. And please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. A lot of videos on the topic of homeschooling, and also just a lot of homeschool real life I show in our day in the life videos. So I hope you'll join my channel and share this if you think it would be helpful to somebody else. I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye-bye.